Okay, students, so good morning to all.
Good morning, sir.
Good
Good
morning to
morning,
all.
sir.
Good morning. I am Professor Tomma Das. So, I will be taking your class for this semester for the subject of optimization techniques. Okay. So, this optimization technique, so I alone will not be taking because this subject will be taken by more two faculties. So, we three faculties will be sharing this particular subject. Okay. So, three of us will be taking different topics of this particular subject. Okay. So, the subject name is soft optimization techniques. So, I will be taking one part, and then the two other faculties. So, one of them is principal sir. He will also be taking one part, and Choyon sir will also take the third part. Okay. Other than this, there is another subject which is the high voltage, that is the HVDC transmission and packs. Okay, that subject will be taken by me. So that subject I will be taking alone. So I think that class is, I think there is a class tomorrow. Okay, regarding that subject. So I will also share the link, but the link will be same. Okay, because my class the link is the same. So but still I will be sharing the details regarding that class before tomorrow's class. Okay. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen. So those who have joined just now, so for them I want to just welcome them. So good morning to the students. So my name is Tanmay Das. So I am a newly joined faculty of this electrical department of Chaibas Engineering College. So I will be taking your subject of soft optimization techniques. Okay, a part of your soft optimization technique. Okay, so I think the screen is visible to you. So the subject code is ELO 710. Okay, and the name of the subject is soft optimization techniques. So these are the topics that I will be covering in this lecture. So introduction to the optimization technique, then introduction to multi-objective optimization techniques, then single versus multi-objective, then conflict in different objectives. Okay, so that we will be discussing later. Okay, so first of all, introduction to optimization techniques. So have you heard the word optimization technique before or optimization problem before? Anyone? Is it familiar with you, this particular term optimization? Okay, so optimization means, see, whenever you have a problem, any certain equation, and if you want to solve it, then that equation can be solved by the, suppose you have an equation of say x square plus x plus 1 equals to 0. Okay, so x square plus x plus 1 equals to 0. So that equation can be solved by just using the normal techniques, algebraic operation, because it is a quadratic equation. So you will have two values of x. Now if the equation is that, suppose the order of the equation is, suppose x to the power 17. Okay, so there is a huge equation, so you will get 17 values of x. So is it possible to solve by using pen and paper? No, it is not possible. It will take a huge time. Okay, and there is a huge chance of committing error while solving the problem. So for that we will use computer techniques. But if you write a program for solving that particular equation of x to the power n, where n is a huge number, more than 10, 20, 30. So if you write a program, that program you're writing will also not, if you're using a classical method, normal method equation, okay, so that also will not give you a correct result, or it will take a huge time. Okay, that means it will take a huge time to solve that problem, because suppose if you are using the middle term, then you are finding the roots. Okay, so if you go by that way and if you write a program on say MATLAB or whatever platform, so it will take a huge time, computation time. So there are few methods by which the problem can be solved very easily, and you will get very less chance of committing error, and the computation time will also be very less. So that is called the optimization problem. That means we will find the optimal result. Optimal means the best value, best solution. That means x to the power 17. So there will be 17 values of x, x1, x2, dot 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 x17. So these 17 values, we have to determine those values, 17 values, which are the optimum one, the best solution for that particular problem. Now you will say, what do you mean by best solution? Because the solution has to be one, means unique. That means x1 will be say suppose 2.3, x2 is 4.1. So it will be unique. But generally what happens, if we are using those classical methods of optimizing problem, then it will take a lot of time and you will not get the correct solution very easily. Don't expect that you will get the correct solution very easily. Okay, so in that case we use a different method, different type. Okay, so we will discuss it slowly. So I'm just going to the introduction part. So optimization is a field with applications in many areas of science, engineering, economics and others, where mathematical modeling is used. So this optimization I will be discussing in details. So just for your introduction part, this optimization technique is used in these areas of science, engineering as well as economics also, and where there are mathematical modeling. Okay, because in reality we will be facing complex equations, highly complex equations. Okay, so for that we have to use computer for solving those problems, and we have to use optimization technique also. Okay, for that. In optimization, the objective is to identify an acceptable solution to an objective function defined over a certain domain. Now this is very important, acceptable solution. So you may ask that why acceptable? Because if you are solving this equation, suppose x square plus suppose 9 equals to 0. Okay, so what is the solution of this problem? It will be x equals to plus minus, it will be, suppose this is x minus 9, it will be plus minus 3. Okay, so x square minus 9 will give you x square minus 9 equals to 0 will give you x solution to be plus minus 3. So it will be plus minus 3, so it cannot be anything else. You cannot say that solution will be say 2.99 or 3.0001. It cannot be that. No, it has to be 3, exact 3.0. Okay, but this is possible only if you have a simple quadratic equation. If you are having an equation of say x to the power 17, which I have just told you, so for that to get the exact actual solution is very difficult. Okay, for that we have to use this optimization technique. So optimization techniques, what happens? For optimization techniques, you may not get the exact solution. Suppose you are using optimization technique where the result, what you are getting, suppose x1 to x17. Okay, there are 17 values of x for x to the power 17. Now suppose for x1 the exact solution which should be coming is 4.2. Suppose it is 4.2. Okay, 4.2, but you are getting 4.17 by using the optimization technique. Now some other person has developed a different optimization technique for which the solution is he is getting 4.197. Okay, now this is the desired one, but you are getting this as the value. Now many other optimization techniques have been used, but still it is observed that this 4.197 is the best solution. So we cannot get a better solution than this. So this 4.197 will be accepted as the best solution for x1. Okay, So why this is happening? Because optimization techniques are not like classical methods. Okay, generally the optimization techniques which we use, which are actually the stochastic ones. Okay, so in those cases the results which we get, we opt, or we are opting for the actual result, but we may deviate from the actual result, but our intention would be that we should deviate as much less as possible. So we must get acceptable solution. Okay, so 4.197 is accepted because it is very very close to 4.2, so it is accepted. So that is why it is called the acceptable solution to an objective function. What is the objective function? Objective function is this function. This is the objective function, x to the power x square minus 9 equals to 0. Okay, so every problem has an objective function, so that function has to be solved. That is the objective. Okay, so that is called the objective function. So solution to the objective function is our aim. The aim is to solve the objective function, so that the solution that we are getting should be within an acceptable reach, defined over a certain domain. Okay, the defined over a certain domain means, suppose if I explain it in this way, one second. Okay, suppose since you are in 4th year, so I hope that you have studied power system. Okay, so you have studied about bus voltage. Okay, then load flow studies, I think you have studied. So suppose you have a system where there are say say 4 or 3 bus system like this. Are you all familiar with load flow? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so load,
Yes.
all of you know load flow. Okay, so I'm just explaining in this way. I'm not going to the load flow analysis. I'm just telling that suppose there are 3 bus system, bus 1, bus 2 and bus 3, and these are the transmission lines. Okay, now bus 1 is having a, so you don't know the values of the voltages, V1, V2, V3, you don't know, but the question is given. Suppose there is a critical analysis and the question, there is objective function, and the question is to find the values of V1, V2 and V3. So this is our objective of the problem. So objective function is there, you have to solve that, and after solving that you will get the values of V1, V2 and V3. But it is told that the values of V1, V2 and V3 should be, all the 3 voltages should be greater than equals to 0.9 and less than equals to 1.05, suppose, per unit. All of you know per unit, so I am referring to that. Okay, so it is told that the values of the voltages should be within this range, 0.9 per unit up to 1.05 per unit. So it should not be less than 0.9 and it should not be more than 1.05 per unit. Okay, so in that case this is called the domain. So that means you should get the solution, an acceptable solution. Suppose your solution is 1.01 per unit for V1, and then V2 is 1.02 per unit, and V3 is 1.1 per unit. So you will then you will say that your solution is not correct because this has violated the domain, because the value should be within 1.05 per unit, but your solution is 1.1 per unit. So your optimization technique is not accurate. So some other technique has been used, then the solution is we are getting, suppose it is say 0.99 per unit. Then we will say that yes, this solution is correct. Okay, so this is the solution for the optimization technique. So here the definition stands that it should be within a certain domain. Okay, next is optimization methods are usually broadly divided into classical and stochastic. Now classical and stochastic means, classical means I've just told you that optimization can be done using classical methods, okay, linear programming and everything, finding x to the power 17 by using those algebraic equations. But those techniques will not give you, may give you the right answer, but it will take a huge time to solve and may result, appear that the writing a program for that particular method will also be very much tedious, and there will be a lot of errors while writing a program may happen, or while solving also there may be a lot of errors. Okay, that is why stochastic techniques are used, which take very less time to solve. Okay, and you might not get the actual result. Suppose the example which I've told you, that you are not getting 4.2 but you are getting 4.17, close enough. So that you can say it is a good answer, an acceptable solution, and best solution or optimal solution. So what is the stochastic technique actually? Stochastic means generally optimization techniques which are used nowadays, they generally, see, suppose if I explain this way, suppose you have x to the power 17, suppose, okay, suppose you have x to the power 17, okay. So what you will do, you will have 17 solution of x, x1, x2, okay, x3, dot 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 x17, and the question it is given, that optimization function is given and you have to solve that, and there is a criteria, or you can say constraint, which use the word constraint. Constraint. What is constraint? Constraint means that the solution which you will get, you have to follow some, guidelines. That is called the constraint. The guideline is that the solution for x, whatever you get, x1, x2, dot dot whatever, so xn, solution of xn should be as it is. This is similar to the previous example, which was 0.9 and 1.05. Here it is, suppose it should be within 2 to, you can say 5, okay, suppose. Then what we will do, the method is that first of all, step number 1 in this case is similar to the Newton-Raphson and load flow. If you can remember, we used to use iterations. Okay, so for first iteration we will get a solution, and if there is an error we will again update that value and we will go to the next iteration, and then we will use that updated value of x, and then we will solve the solution, and we will check whether the solution is desired or not. And if there is still error, then again we will update the solution of x, and again we will go to the third iteration. Similarly here also, suppose first step will be, since we don't have any solution in the first step, we will use a random variable. What random variable? Since the range is given as 2 to 5, so we will opt a random variable between 2 to 5 for all. Suppose the first solution of x1 is, we are getting, suppose we are getting 2.8, for x2 we are getting 3.2, here we are getting 4.1, and for x17 we are getting 4.7. So obviously by using a program code, we will generate random solutions for x1 to x17 within 2 to 5. So these are all within the range. Now we will put those values in the equation. Suppose our equation is, if I write in this way, suppose the equation is like this: x to the power 15, x to the 3, x to the power 12, dot 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 dot, like this. Huge equation is there. So what we will do, we will put the values of x1, x2, x3 in that way. Okay, and then we'll find the solution. Suppose this is 4, this is 5, like that. Okay, then we will put the values and we will check that whether the solution is coming to 0 or not. If it is not 0, then we will update that value, and after updating the value, suppose the solution is say 2.9, 3.1, 4.2, 3.6. okay, then you will see that it is very close to 0. Okay, suppose previously by using these solutions, it was this 0, the output was not 0. Suppose the output was 3 or 3.1. After updating the value, Now our output is 2.7. That means we are getting closer to 0. Okay, we are getting closer to 0. So that means again we have to update it. So after updating that, suppose this one is 2.7, this is 2.8, okay, this is 4.7, this is 3.5. Then you will see that we have reached to 1.9. So after suppose say 6 to 7 iterations, we are getting a solution which is say 0.0001. So there is another setback that we have set in the objective function, that if the solution is within 0001 third decimal place, then we will consider it to be 0. That means whatever solution we are getting, we have achieved the target. So we will take those solutions, okay, the values of x we will take and declare that these are the results, optimal results. So this is the stochastic method of optimization. So stochastic means whenever we are using any solving any solution, so we will take some random variables in the beginning. Then we will put those variables. Then we will see what are the results. Are we getting the objective function solution of the objective function as desirable? Is it okay? If it is not, then we will update those values. So always for optimization technique, whenever we are going for the random variables and putting the variables and then solving the objective function, we will always have a reference. We should always have a reference. Otherwise, we will not be able to understand whether the objective is reached or not. In this case, our reference is 0, because after adding this all the terms, it should be 0. So we will check that whether our solution is, after putting the solution, whether our output is 0 or not. So for every objective function, this target will be given, okay, in the question. Okay, so this is what stochastic means. So classical techniques present several difficulties in solving object optimization problems, since they impose different restrictions to the optimization formulations to be solved. Okay, so this is for classical. On the other hand, stochastic methods are usually faster in locating global optimum. Global optimum means the best, okay, optimum solution. Global optimum means it is declaring that this is the best solution along the entire domain, okay, in the entire domain. Domain means in this previous case we have seen that x to the power 17, we have 17 solutions of x. So the domain is within 2 to 5. The value should be within 2 to 5. It should not exceed that. Okay, so that is why the stochastic methods generally solve the objective function very faster, and they declare the result within the domain. Okay, so it declares that the solution is the optimal solution globally. Furthermore, stochastic algorithms adapt easily to black box problems definitions and all LBF functions, whereas classical methods require existence of some technical constraints about the problems and its analytical properties. So this we will slowly, as we proceed in this particular chapter, then we will be exploring all these things. Okay, so stochastic, as I have just told you, the stochastic first means that stochastic methods are optimization methods that generate and use random variables. Okay, so first step, we have to use random variables, but within the domain, okay, the domain which is set in the problem, that is 2 to 5 in the previous example. Next, for stochastic problems, the random variables appear in the formulation of the optimization problem itself, which involves random objective functions or random constants. So it has to be within the constants also. Okay, so these random variables will be appearing in the formulation of the objective function itself. So within the objective function, these random variables will be formed, and then the solution will be the problem will be solved. Stochastic methods, optimization methods, also include methods in random iterates. That means it will take random and iterations also. And some stochastic optimization methods use random iterates to solve stochastic problems, combining both meanings of stochastic optimization. Okay, so these we will be exploring further. Okay, now Since you have understood the basics of stochastic optimization technique, okay, so whatever study we generally do nowadays all depends or are used all by using the stochastic methods. Okay, generally these are uh, observed to be very much efficient and time efficient, as well as solution is also very we get a efficient or exact solution almost. Okay, now the next okay, have you understood up to this the previous topic? If you have any question you can ask. Is it clear to all? Okay, I can see the students. I'm calling Akshay. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so did you understand?
Yes, sir. Little understanding.
Okay, so if you have any doubt, you can interrupt me anytime. Okay,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
okay. Anjali, is it understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so I'm carrying on. So the next discussion will be regarding the objective function. So as we just discussed that the stochastic methods are using the random variables or random values of the solutions. That means solution means what? I can, or rather I will say random solutions of the variables. Random solutions of the variables with x to the power 17. So that means x1, x2, x3 dot 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 x17. These are the variables. We have to solve the equation to determine the solution of the variables. Which equation? Optimization objective function. So there is an objective function. Okay, the objective function has to be solved, and obviously x to the power 17, the equation just told you 4x to the power 17 plus 5x to the power 16 whatever dot 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 equals to 0. So there is an objective function. So if you want to solve that, we are actually finding the value of x. So x are the variables. So solving the objective function means we are solving the values of x. So the solutions are x1, x2, x3, and these values we will determine. These are the solutions. Now the objective function may be 1 or may be more than 1. Like suppose if I explain this way, suppose if I take a equation, a smaller one, suppose x to the power 7. So there are equation like this: 3x to the power 7, 4x to the power 6 plus 3x to the power 4 plus 2x plus 15 equals to 0. Suppose we have another equation where 5y to the power 5, 6y to the power 3 plus 5y plus 2 equals to 0. So we have two objective functions. We will call it as OF1, objective function 1, OF2, objective function 2. You can see we have different variables. We have 7 sets of x, okay, x1 to x7. We have 5 sets of y, y1, y5. Okay, okay. So in this case, so we have two objective functions. So the question is that you have to solve these objective functions and solve the values of x and y. So how many variables do we have? 7x and 5y. 5 values of y. That means we have 12 variables. Total 12 variables. So we will get 12 solutions of these 12 variables. But objective function are 2. So these problems are called multi-objective. multi-objective optimization problem. So single objective means we will have only one objective function, but multi means we will have more than one. It can be 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, whatever. So more the number of objective function increases, more complex the problem becomes. So objective function can be more than one. So those are called multi-objective functions. Okay. So single objective function means, or optimization problem means, when the optimization problem involves only one objective function, the task of finding the solution is called single objective optimization. So it is called a single objective optimization means we have only one objective, that is one objective function, one OF. Okay. Sorry. So for example, find a car for me within minimum cost. So that means, suppose these are practical case. Suppose we are not going to any mathematical equation. Suppose you are thinking of buying a car. So you are searching that which is the best car for you within the minimum cost. So that is the objective function. That means the objective function is to determine or find the car within the minimum cost. So this is a single objective function. Now multi-objective means when the objective optimization problem involves more than one objective function. The task of finding one or more optimum solutions is known as multi-objective optimization. Okay. So more than one solution. Okay. So suppose example is find the car for me within minimum cost and maximum comfort. So you can see here two objectives have been, a separate objective has been introduced. Previously it was minimum cost, now maximum comfort. Now you have to see that previously you are looking for, suppose your boss is asking you that find a car for me and see whether which is the minimum cost. So you will find in the website and you will share it with your boss. These are the 10 top cars according to your budget, and just these 10 cars are there. But next day the boss tells that, after sorting that, tells you no, find a minimum, find a car with a minimum cost and also check whether it is giving maximum comfort or not. So that means in that case the top 10 cars which you have selected previously, now on the other day when you are finding the cars with maximum comfort also, those top 10 cars may not be equal. Few may be same, few may also be different. Because why? Because a different objective function has also been introduced. That means you have to also check which is giving maximum comfort. Okay. So the cars which were not giving maximum comfort will be discarded from the list. Okay. So this is a very basic example of a multi-objective function. That means you have to find the solution by considering the two objective functions simultaneously. Okay, the two objective functions simultaneously. That means suppose if I say a problem related to electrical engineering power system, suppose you are finding a solution. Okay, suppose the question is that you have to determine the minimum transmission loss in a system. Transmission losses are there. You have to find the optimum values of voltage, current and power factor so that the transmission loss should be minimum. So that means transmission loss should be minimum is a single objective function. So you will determine the values of voltage, current and power factor. Now if the question is that determine the solution of voltage, current and power factor where transmission loss is minimum, also see that you can suppose the transmission cost is transmission loss is minimum, also the installation cost is also, or you can say running cost is also minimum or not. So running cost means you have to also consider the different parameters, suppose capacitor bank, okay, or suppose different equipments are there. Okay, so this cost, if that means loss as well as cost both are being introduced, then your solution will be different. So previously it was only loss, so you are solving the values of voltage, current and power factor. Now if the question comes at loss as well as transmission cost also, you have to also check that which are the items which are involved in this cost. So you have to manipulate those things also. So that is an example of multi-objective function. So this kind of problem generally comes in, you have to face if you are working in industry or if you are working in a power sector. Okay, so always you will find that these kind of problems comes, which are most of them, or you can say all of them, are multi-objectives. So you have to find the solution for these multi-objective functions. Okay. So introduction to multi-objective. So as we have discussed, a wide variety of problems in engineering, industry and many other fields involve the simultaneous optimization of several objectives. So just as I have told you that there will be simultaneous optimization of several objectives. So you have to optimize the problem. That means you have to find the best solution, but not for a single objective function, for more than one objective function. So several objectives are there. You have to consider all those objectives and then you have to find the solution. Okay. So that means suppose you are driving a car or any bike, riding a bike. So if your objective is that you have to maintain the speed within 50 km per hour, then you know that I have to maintain the speed within 50 km per hour, and you are in a highway. So you are in a highway, there is very less traffic. Okay, you have broad highway. But suppose you are in a busy area, busy market. Over there, suppose your target is given that you have to, suppose you are playing a video game. No, you all do. In a video game, what we do, we try to maximize the speed as much as possible because you have to reach the destination. But if traffic are introduced in the video game, we have to also consider the traffic is there. So if I hit a car, my speed will be decreased. So I have to, or suppose a point will be reduced. So you have to dodge those cars, dodge the traffic, and then you have to move forward. So this is a multi-objective. So that means you are dodging a car is one objective, and maintaining the speed to the maximum is also one objective. Okay. So in that case, the time taken to reach the final point will be more. But if you are using a freeway or a highway where there is no traffic, then it will take less time to reach that destination. Okay. So two different solutions you will achieve. Okay. So multi-objective optimization has been applied in many fields of science, including engineering, economics as well, logistics, where optimal decisions need to be taken in the presence of trade-offs between two or more conflicting objectives. Okay. Now conflicting objectives is one case, because in multi-objective, don't expect that the objective functions will be helping each other. Okay. So there will be some conflicting objectives also. That means objective function 1 and objective function 2 are poles apart, not within the same, you can say, means domain. So in that case, finding a solution is very difficult. Okay, it becomes very much challenging. So this kind of objective functions may also you may face. Okay, because similarly, if you see the previous case, your boss is asking you to shortlist few of the cars which are minimum cost but also having maximum comfort. So it is not possible, because if you are going for maximum comfort, the price of the car will increase. You have to go for higher price. Okay. So if you are asking that find a phone, which phone you want to buy, so you are searching in Flipkart, Amazon, whatever. So you are finding a phone which is having best processing speed, but it should be within 10,000. So it is very difficult to find that. If you are increasing the processing speed, if you are going for Snapdragon processor, if you are going for other chipset, it will always, the price will increase. It will increase 15,000, 20,000. Okay. So it is very difficult. So these two objective functions are very conflicting, that within 10,000 rupees and very high processing speed. These are conflicting. So the objective function is like this, that you have to find a phone which is having 10,000 price, and the brand should be MI. So you will get a very easy solution because MI phones are very cheap. So these two objective functions are very related to each other, very helping each other. Okay. So the previous case was conflicting. Okay. So minimizing cost while maximizing comfort while buying a car, and maximizing performance while minimizing fuel consumption and emission of pollutants of vehicle are examples of multi-objective functions involving 2 or 3 objectives respectively. So these are as I've told you, that these are multi-objective. So buying a car of maximizing comfort and minimize cost is two objective functions, while there can be three objective functions also. That is, minimum fuel consumption, emission of pollutants will be minimum, and also maximizing performance. So these are three objective functions. So in practical problems, there can be more than three objectives. So as I told you, there can be n number of objective functions, 10, 20, 30, 100. Okay. Now last topic that we will be discussing today, that is the conflicting different objectives. So I have just given you a brief idea about conflicting. So it is elaborated in this section that multi-objective optimization, that is MOO, is the optimization of conflicting objectives. Okay, so multi-objective function, you will most of the times you will find, or you can say all of the times you will find, it will conflict. It is not at all helping. The two objective functions will not, very less chance that it will help each other. So in some problems it is possible to find a way of combining objective functions into a single objective, but in some other problems it is not possible to do so, because if the objective functions are conflicting, then it is not possible to determine or to solve this problem by considering the multi-objective as a single objective. Because if the objective functions are helping each other, then you can combine them to a single objective function. But if they are conflicting, then it is not possible to combine them into a single objective function. So sometimes the differences are qualitative, and relative importance of these objectives cannot be numerically quantified. Okay. Frequently, there is no unique solution. Rather, there is a trade-off among the optimal solution. These problems are called multi-objective optimization problems. So you will not get a unique solution. So suppose in multi-objective functions, what happens? Finding a unique solution. That means you are finding a solution of say x and y. You are getting a solution. The other day, if you solve, you will find that you will get some deviation in the solution. So always you will not get a unique solution. So if the number of objective function increases, then uniqueness of the solution becomes very difficult to achieve. Let us consider, for example, a shipping company which is interested in minimizing the total duration of its routes to improve customer service. Okay. On the other hand, the company also wants to minimize the number of trucks used in order to reduce the operating cost. So clearly these objective functions are in conflict, since adding more trucks reduces the duration of the routes but increases operation cost. So in addition, the objective of this problem are expressed in different measurement units. So obviously the case, suppose this very good example, that you are shipping the items with minimum cost but duration is less, total duration will be less. But if you are using more trucks, then obviously the duration will be less, but the cost of investment or operation is increasing. So they are conflicting each other. So in multi-objective functions, these kind of problems do arise. So you have to solve using or considering these criteria or conditions, okay, for multi-objective functions. Okay, so is it clear? So I'm concluding my lecture up to here. If you have any question, you can ask. Have you understood, all of you?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just calling out the names for the attendance, those who are present. I just want to see whether you are kindly respond so that I can understand. So I have already called the names of the Akshay and Anjali. So I am calling the name of Avinash.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Deepak, are you there? Present?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Mamta Kumari.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ziol Haq Ansari.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Pankaj.
Yes, sir.
Preeti. Pooja Sharma. Okay, Rahul Kumar.
Yes, sir.
Reshika Kumari.
Present, sir.
Ritesh Kumar Mahato,
Yes, sir.
Saraswati Kumari, okay, Swayambar Singh Munda,
Yes, sir.
okay. Okay, so thank you all for today's class. Okay, so we will continue the discussion in the next class. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.